My husband did not cheat on me. He did not shout. He did not storm out. He simply stopped being there, and I didn't notice for 2 years. For 2 years I slept beside a man who had already left me in his heart. I thought we were stable. I thought we were calm. I thought we were mature. But calm is not always peace. Sometimes it is distance. Sometimes it is someone slowly packing their feelings while you are still planning holidays. The day I found the folder on his laptop, I realized something terrifying. He wasn't deciding whether to leave. He had already decided. And that was the day everything changed. My name is Anna. I am 38 years old. I have been married to Daniel for 11 years. People said we were a solid couple. No drama. No big fights. No scandals. At dinner parties, our friends joked about their loud marriages, the screaming matches, the jealousy, the slam doors. Daniel and I would smile at each other across the table, quietly proud. We thought we had figured something out that they hadn't. Daniel was always quiet. He worked, came home, ate dinner, watched TV, and went to bed. Routine, predictable, safe. I used to think that was stability. Hooray! I used to think that was stability. When my friends complained about their husbands shouting or arguing, I felt lucky. Daniel never raised his voice. He never said no. He never demanded anything. I thought that meant he was happy. Now I understand something different. He had already stopped asking. He had stopped trying. He had stopped trying. The first small change door. The first change was so small I almost missed it. He stopped telling me about his day. If I asked, "How was work?" he would say, "Fine." Before, he would mention a client or a funny moment with a coworker. Not long conversations, but something. A small window into his world. Now there was nothing. Just fine. Then he stopped touching me. Unless I reached for him first. No random hand on my back. No small kiss on my shoulder. No fingers intertwined on the couch. He wasn't cold. Just neutral. Like I was a roommate, not a wife. I told myself, this is what long marriages look like. Passion fades. Comfort replaces excitement. But this wasn't comfort. This was absence. We didn't fight. That was the strange part. If I complained, he agreed. If I criticized something, he nodded. If I made plans, he said, "Whatever you prefer." At first, it felt easy, but slowly, it felt like talking to a wall. One night I asked, "Do you ever disagree with me?" He smiled slightly. "Not really." I laughed. I thought it meant we were perfectly in sync. Now I know it meant he had stopped caring enough to disagree. The laptop of one Saturday. I walked into the study. Daniel quickly closed his laptop. Too quickly. It was the first time I saw something sharp in his eyes. "What were you doing?" I asked lightly. "Nothing important," he said, and left the room. That moment stayed with me all day. Later that night, while he was in the shower, I opened his laptop. There was a folder on the desktop. Private, password protected. Daniel had never hidden anything before. That was when I felt it, clearly. Not anger, not jealousy. Distance, a wall I didn't know existed. 2 weeks later, he forgot to log out. The folder was open. Inside were apartment listings, one-bedroom places, rental prices highlighted. Move-in dates circled. There was a file titled Separation Timeline. My hands began to shake. Savings needed $8,000. Current amount $6,200. Lawyer consultation completed. Estimated divorce cost $3,000, $5,000. Uncontested timeline 3-4 months. It wasn't emotional. It wasn't impulsive. It was planned. He wasn't thinking about leaving. He was preparing. At the bottom was a note. Wait until she seems stable. Don't blindside her during a stressful work period. Stable. Like I was something fragile to manage. I felt something break inside me. Not rage. Not hysteria. Just cold understanding. He had already stepped out of the marriage. I was the only one still inside. That evening, I made dinner like always. When he came home, I said quietly, "Fwagigal, Daniel, we need to talk." He looked at me. "You opened it," he said. "Yes." Silence. "How long?" I asked. "About a year." A year? He had been planning to leave me for a year. Sleeping beside me. Eating dinner with me. Kissing my forehead on Sundays. Why? I asked. He looked tired. "I feel invisible." That word hit me like a physical blow. Invisible. "I do everything right," I said. "I support you. I built this life with you." "I know," he said softly. "That's the problem." I didn't understand. "You don't need me," he continued. "You decide everything. You decide everything. You fill every space." He paused. "When was the last time you asked what I wanted?" I opened my mouth. I couldn't remember. "I stopped fighting for space," he said. It felt easier to disappear. While sitting at my table, sleeping in my bed, standing in my kitchen, sleeping in my bed, standing in my kitchen. That night, I replayed everything in my head. How often did I interrupt him? How often did I correct small things? How often did I say, "It's fine. I'll handle it"? I thought I was being strong, efficient, capable. Maybe I was taking all the air. Maybe I left no room for him to feel necessary. "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked. "I tried," he said. "You were always fixing things." That hurt. But it wasn't completely wrong. "I don't want to disappear," he said. "I just want to exist." That sentence changed everything. We didn't divorce. Not yet. And we didn't fix everything in one night. But we started something harder. We created space. Real space. I began asking, "What do you think?" And then I waited. Really waited. He began speaking more. Slowly, carefully. We argue now. Real arguments. About movies, vacations, money. It's uncomfortable. But he is present again, and so am I. If you ask me what almost destroyed us, it wasn't cheating. It wasn't hatred. It was silence. Silence can feel peaceful. But sometimes it is someone slowly leaving. I used to think a good marriage meant no conflict. Now I know. Sometimes love requires noise. Sometimes it requires discomfort. Sometimes it requires making space for someone else to exist, because the most dangerous husband is not the angry one. It is the silent one. The one who stops asking. The one who stops fighting. The one who stops fighting. The one who quietly plans his exit while you plan your future. And sometimes, the loudest mistake is the silence we allow to grow. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Prime English Stories. With every story, I already know who it is. With every story, our English gets better, and our hearts grow stronger.